I have done quite a lot of work, both with children and with adults, on how to tackle bullying. Okay, and do you know what? I have spoken to people who now run banks who can remember the time when they were bullied at school and they're now, in their early 50s. Bullying is one of these horrible, horrible experiences that a lot of people think to themselves, there's nothing I can do, and they feel very helpless. And what we know when we feel helpless is that we tend to feel very small and we feel very weak. And in essence, that's what a bully wants to do. A bully wants to try and make you feel smaller and weaker and helpless. Because in doing that, it makes them feel bigger and stronger and in a position of power. Because most of the time in their life, they don't feel that way. They have some underlying weaknesses. And you probably know that. If you're experiencing bullying, you go, yeah, I'm fully aware of that. So then what we do is we start to put together some strategies to deal with bullying that actually make you feel bigger and stronger, because that starts to address some of the difficulties that you're feeling. Right. In some of the work that I've done with people in the past, what we do is we put together a little bit of a toolkit, and it's going to be very specific for your situation. What I would say to you is, first of all, think about what are the situations in which your bullying takes place? What are the situations in which you are being victimized? And there's a difference. There's a difference when it's in a face-to-face situation versus being online. And I'll deal with the online stuff in a separate video. But what I want to do is to give you some thoughts about how you might go about tackling the bullying in a face-to-face form. Now, bear in mind that the moment you start to stand up to the bully, they are typically going to make things a little bit worse before they start giving up. And that's really important. So what we have to do is to be prepared. Think through what are those situations in which I'm typically being bullied, and then what are you going to say? Think of what are those common events and what might you say. For example, when one of my students was being bullied quite a lot at school, what I got him to do was to turn around to the bullies and say to them, there was one chap in particular, and say to them, you know what, you're really weird. Only weird people act the way you do and say the things you do. What we're doing is to make bullying weird. We're going to make bullying like this oddity to make the bully stand out. Make it about them. What I found in my experience that saying nothing, unfortunately in a face-to-face situation, particularly when the bully has other people around, it doesn't work. What's important is to actually have something to say, to come back and to show your strength, because that's what the bully doesn't want. The bully doesn't want you to be strong. So maybe with someone you trust, sit down and put together some things that you might be able to say in that situation. Be prepared and then think, well, what might happen next? And how do we minimize the fallout from that? Plan. And think to yourself, no, I'm not alone in this. Tell others what's happening. Get them on side as well. And even when people who are bullying you are very strong and have a lot of influence, I promise you there are other people who have more influence than them. I promise you. But it's a matter of identifying who they are and how you go about doing it. So, sit down and really think things through, because the thing is, if you're not prepared, then the next time you're being bullied, you're going to end up going, oh, I don't know what to say, I feel too scared. And I feel weak and I hate myself. And that's the other thing the bullies want. They want you to hate yourself. So, sit down maybe with someone you trust and think to yourself, what can I say? What can I say back? And then be prepared for the bully to come back. And then what do you then say? And to be honest with you, always make it about them. Make it about the fact that their behavior is strange. Their behavior is odd. That actually healthy people don't bully, which they don't. Healthy people don't bully. Only unhealthy ones do. So, anticipate those vulnerable times, plan accordingly, have some strategies up your sleeve, and I suppose bear in mind that the first time you start putting these things into place, you'll probably find yourself shaking after you've said them and really hanging on to being strong. So know that you may need to sort of, whiz off and have a little bit of quiet time to get your head back in the right place and feel strong again, or go and find someone that you trust and go, I did it. I did it. And I get some of my students actually to text me and say, I did it. And I'm like, yes. And again, bear in mind that bullying leaves scars. Okay, and if you've been bullied for quite a long time, then those scars are going to be quite deep. And they're going to make you question yourself and question your value as a person. Somebody else has done that to you. So we need to change it. So take a look at some of that confidence building stuff, beating the blues, how to feel strong again, and put some of those strategies into place for yourself and give yourself time to recuperate. But always keep those tools in your toolkit so that the next time somebody tries to bully you, you can get right back at them and you will be bigger and stronger.